1. When the world goes quiet faster than you do. The blackout doesn't arrive like a storm. Storms give warnings. This one hits like a cardiac arrest. Instant, silent, final. 1 second the grid hums like a lazy god, the next it flatlines, and you're standing in a dead world that still smells like the living one. People blink, confused, waiting for the lights to return like obedient dogs. They won't. Not in an hour. Not tonight. Probably not this week. That's the first thing you need to accept before the dark eats you. The first 7 days decide who adapts and who rots. You feel it first in the air. The temperature drops because HVAC is gone. Fridges bleed their cold into the room, and silence magnifies every stupid breath you take. Darkness doesn't kill people. Their denial does. They waste hours waiting, whining, refreshing a phone that's now just a glossy brick. Every minute they stall, the darkness settles deeper, like mold on a forgotten body. Your job isn't to panic. Panic is loud, stupid, and hungry. Your job is to stabilize the environment before the environment destabilizes you. Water becomes a countdown. Heat becomes a negotiation. Food becomes arithmetic with consequences. And every sound outside becomes a reminder that you're sharing the night with desperate amateurs. Crews. Wanderers. The unprepared. You start with the basics. Secure your territory. Doors aren't barriers now. They're polite suggestions. Reinforce them with physics, not hope. Weight, leverage, angles. Light a candle only if you want to advertise your presence to every hungry idiot nearby. The darkness is your ally if you stay smarter than the one stumbling through it. The first night is the easiest. Nobody realizes reality has shifted. You use that ignorance as cover. Stabilize water. Move your perishables. Map the temperature of your home with your skin. Find the cold spots. They're your temporary fridge. Find the warm spots. They're where you'll retreat when your bones start complaining. And as the world outside argues, shouts, and negotiates its own stupidity, you sit still, breathing slow, eyes adjusting. The blackout hasn't killed anyone yet, but the clock has started sharpening its teeth. 2. The second day, when your body realizes the grid isn't coming back. Morning isn't brighter. It's just a paler version of night. The cold creeps under your clothes like a thief testing weak windows. The food you saved is sweating. The water in your jug looks stable, but it's lying to you. Day 2 is when biology betrays the optimistic. Systems fail quietly. Your metabolism spikes trying to compensate for lost heat. Your dehydration accelerates because cold air is drier. And your mind keeps insisting the world will fix itself. This is the day you notice smells. Rot speeds up when nobody controls temperature. Your fridge is now a coffin warming from the inside. Meat turns on you first. Dairy follows like a loyal dog. If you're smart, you emptied it last night, sealing every edible thing in airtight containers, burying their scent like you're hiding evidence. If you didn't, congratulations, you just created a biological hazard in your kitchen. People outside still pretend everything's temporary. They gather near dead stores, staring at locked doors like worshippers mourning a fallen idol. That delusion won't survive another 24 hours. Hunger is an impatient teacher. You use day 2 to restructure your life around the only 3 resources that matter: heat, hydration, calories. Heat is non-negotiable. You trap it with layers, blankets, physics. Hydration is sacred. Every drop is a bargaining chip you'll need later. Calories are time. Burn too many and you'll pay with clarity. Your movement becomes strategic. Reduce your surface area to the cold. Keep your breathing slow. Don't waste energy trying to stay productive. Productivity is a pre-collapse fantasy. Survival is math now, and your body is the calculator. When night returns, and it will return faster, you listen. The city sounds different. Softer. More feral. People are learning the first truth of collapse. Civilization is a performance, and the actors have forgotten their lines. You stay quiet. You stay small. You stay warm. The blackout isn't ending, but your adaptation has begun. 3. The third day. When the food you thought would last a week suddenly has an expiration date. Your stomach becomes a negotiator with unreasonable demands. You look at your supplies and realize you weren't stocking food, you were stockpiling denial. Everything perishable is now a ticking bomb, and the bomb has started sweating. Bread stiffens. Fruit bruises itself into syrup. Vegetables sag like exhausted lungs. Day 3 is when you transition from what do I want to eat to what will keep me alive without murdering my future meals. You prioritize perishables first, not by taste, by physics. Calories per volume, shelf stability, spoilage rate. Every bite you take is a battlefield decision, and waste is a sin. People get loud today. Hunger sharpens their stupidity. They argue over generators they don't know how to maintain. They fight over snacks like hyenas chewing on plastic wrappers. Their bodies are beginning to revolt. Dehydration headaches, unstable blood sugar, cold-induced fatigue. You don't join them. You observe. They're creating the noise you'll navigate around later. Inside your home, your breath fogs the air. That's not atmosphere. That's a warning. When your breath becomes visible indoors, your body is losing more heat than it can comfortably replace. You insulate your sleeping area like you're preparing a grave you hope not to use. Closed-off space. Layered blankets. Body heat recycling. Efficiency beats bravery every time. Day 3 is also a test of discipline. Your hunger tells you to overeat while you still can. That's the trap. Collapse punishes impulsive mammals. Eat steady. Eat slow. Keep blood sugar flat, not heroic. Your rationing strategy is your survival plan disguised as routine. When darkness falls again, it feels heavier. Not metaphorically, physically. Cold air thickens, pressing against your lungs. You lie still, listening to distant arguments, scraping metal, doors slamming, footsteps running. Hunger is teaching them violence. You're learning patience. That's the difference between a body that lasts a week and a body that decorates a sidewalk. The 4th day, when water becomes more valuable than anything you've ever owned. You don't think about thirst until your tongue feels like sandpaper coated in regret. Day 4 is when dehydration emerges from the shadows and asks what you've been doing with your life. You realize how quickly your precious stockpile shrank. Cooking, cleaning, stupid sips you didn't need. Now every remaining liter looks like a hostage you're not sure you can protect. Water is weight. Water is currency. Water is the only negotiation the world respects now. You sterilize. You conserve. You guard. You drink slow, timing each sip like medication. If you're lucky, you filled bathtubs or buckets before the pressure died. If you didn't, you're about to meet the part of collapse that smells like rot and desperation. Outside, people are hunting for water with the grace of drunk raccoons. They raid stores first, all empty. Then they open fire hydrants and achieve nothing but flooding the street with the last clean water they'll see this month. Some boil questionable puddles over trash fires, pretending steam equals safety. Biology laughs at them. Pathogens don't care about your optimism. You set up collection systems, condensation traps, melting ice from outdoor containers, manual filtration. You become a biologist against your will, examining clarity, checking scent, measuring risk. Every sip is a gamble, but dehydration is a guaranteed executioner. Your body starts signaling weakness. Cold sensitivity spikes, pulse quickens, joints ache. This isn't illness. It's the cost of existing without infrastructure. You compensate by reducing movement, keeping muscles warm, rationing salt to balance electrolytes. Collapse biology is unforgiving. You adapt or you leak strength like a cracked tank. Night brings the sound of people fighting over water they can't safely drink. The city smells different now. Burnt plastic, spilled food, human frustration. You stay silent. Thirst sharpens your mind, but you don't let it turn you stupid. If someone asked what the most important resource is, you could give a lecture. Instead, you stare at your remaining water and understand this isn't a resource. It's survival in liquid form. 5. The 5th day, when human behavior turns predictable and dangerous. Civilization is nothing more than millions of small agreements. By day 5, every agreement has expired. People stop pretending. Hunger and thirst strip away personality like paint under fire. You witness the transformation from neighbor to liability. Patterns emerge. Some roam, scavenging for anything edible. Some barricade themselves and wait for rescue that isn't coming. Some form little packs. Alliances made of fear, not trust. These groups fall apart fast, usually after someone introduces violence into the conversation. You stay invisible. Visibility is vulnerability. Noise is advertisement. Movement is risk. Day 5 is when you reassess your perimeter. Sound travels farther in cold air, and desperation gives people selective hearing. You reinforce your entry points again, this time with the understanding that someone might test them. Not because they're evil, because they're empty. Your body aches. Not from exertion, but from maintaining a survival posture your muscles weren't designed to hold. But pain is feedback, not failure. You stretch, move slow, conserve calories with efficient motions. You're living like an apex predator forced into hibernation. Food is almost purely shelf-stable now. Cans, dry goods, ration bars you forgot you bought. Everything tastes like cardboard dipped in disappointment, but it keeps the engine running. You don't indulge cravings. Cravings belong to the world that used to exist. Outside, chaos becomes predictable. The first wave of panic has cooled into grim routine. People search methodically now. They knock, test, pry, plead. You listen to every sound like a tactical report. Patterns tell you where danger nests and where it migrates next. Knowledge becomes defense. By the time darkness descends again, you feel something you didn't expect. Clarity. The world has shed its illusions.
You know the rules now, and the rules are simple.
Survive quietly. Survive intelligently. Survive without asking permission. Day 5 doesn't break you unless you mistake desperation for destiny. The 6th and 7th days, when you stop waiting for rescue and start thinking like a survivor. The end of the first week isn't the finish line, it's a psychological amputation. By now, your mind has stopped whispering that the grid might return any minute. Hope hasn't died. It's simply stepped aside to let instinct drive. You wake up colder but clearer, hungrier but sharper, weaker but more dangerous. Days 6 and 7 are the moment you evolve. You stop counting hours since the blackout and start counting resources like a creature living inside a math equation. You think in energy expenditure. You calculate risk the way accountants used to calculate taxes. You move like an animal that knows anything louder than a breath could redraw its fate. Your water plan is now routine. Your food is rationed with brutality. Your shelter is organized into thermal zones and silence zones. You've built a life out of debris and logic. Outside, the city has become a carcass with pockets of movement. Some people leave, walking toward rumors of power, food, safety. Some stay, protecting nests that were never secure to begin with. Some vanish, swallowed by cold, by dehydration, by other people. You stay still. Observation is your weapon. Knowledge is your armor. By the end of day 7, your priorities have transformed. Heat is no longer a comfort, it's a strategic advantage. Food isn't pleasure, it's fuel. Water isn't relief, it's leverage. And silence. Silence is survival. You realize something else too. Collapse didn't change you. It revealed you. Every instinct you ignored in the bright world now feels like the only language worth speaking. When the sun sets on the 7th day, you sit in the same darkness that terrified you a week ago. But now the darkness knows your name. You've adapted. You've endured. You've learned the first rule of blackouts. Survival isn't granted. It's negotiated. And tomorrow wants a rematch.